What's up, everybody? What can I say? Thank you guys for all the love and support, the messages that we've been receiving thus far. A lot of interest that we've gotten so far in regards to the show and some of the topics that we've had. So, pound to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlo. My name is David. This is my buddy Carlo. This is Dollars and Cents, and we're here to make sense of different ways to make you money, help you protect it, help you grow it over time. And a lot of this is a different concept than I think what most people are aware of.
These are not traditional concepts.
Non-traditional, that's for sure. Incredibly legal.
That's right.
So let's not...
Good disclosure, right?
Yeah, 1,000% legal, but just due to the lack of information and the knowledge that's available to us about these types of products, it's just not really well used. And so again, this is really why we're doing this, is to continue to inform ourselves, obviously work with you all out there to teach you different ways to go about growing your money. And so thank you all again for all the outpour that we've had so far. Please continue to send out those questions. We really do love it. But hey, let's go. Let's dive into it.
Let's do it.
So thank you guys again for checking out this show. We touched on the previous shows about, different ways to grow your money. The biggest topic and the concept that we're going to be doubling down on has to do with an IUL. And an IUL stands for Indexed Universal Life Policy or insurance policy. So, again, if you could just give us a quick recap, Carlo, kind of what that is about, and then we'll kind of dive into the show's topic.
It's so an Indexed Universal Life is a type of permanent life insurance, and by permanent means it never expires, unlike a term policy, which was most people are aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And IUL index means that there's a cash value account inside of this policy that mirrors a stock market index like the S&P 500. And what that means is that if the market performs, you're able to earn a market-like return. But if the market crashes, your principal or any gains you've had up to that point are guaranteed from any loss, since the floor guarantee is about 0%.
Key word in there, it mirrors stock market-like accounts. It is not tied to the stock market, and I think it's important to reiterate that you get all of the upside with none of the down.
That is correct.
You keep all of your gains, and if the market tanks, you just stay flat where it's at, but you do not lose any of the profit.
And so universal, IUL, the U stands for flexibility, right? So you can fund these policies with pretty much almost any amount of premium within reason, which we'll get into. But, there's people putting thousands of dollars per month, $100,000s of dollars per year, right? And you could skip payments, you could pause your payments, you could increase your policy, you could decrease it. It's very flexible. And obviously the L, it stands for life insurance, meaning that this, at the end of the day, is a life insurance policy.
Yeah, no doubt. So very cool. So thank you for that. So we're going to focus on the topic. This show's topic is going to be how an IUL is structured. I can't stress how important that is when you start talking to us about wanting to look at this types of policy, because the way that it's structured is really geared towards what your goals are. Speaking from experience myself, I have an IUL. I got an IUL years ago. Before I truly understood what it was was not structured properly. And that is what it is. I'm on this side of the fence now, and so we're restructuring at this time. But yeah, now that I understand kind of how this works, the structuring, it has to be bar none, how you're going to start getting into these types of products, right?
Absolutely. So we're going to hit on that for everybody's understanding, because this is the number one question I get. Hey, I hear these things have to be structured or designed properly. Carlo, I have no idea what that means. And everybody talks about it online, TikTok, YouTube, social media. You got to have a structure. You got to have it designed properly. Well, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain it very basically so everybody understands it. A well-structured IUL policy means that whatever money you're contributing, so let's say for the sake of this example, you're contributing $1,000 a month. If your goal is to accumulate as much cash as possible inside of the policy, you want it structured with the least amount of life insurance, because at the end of the day, no matter what, you're going to pay for life insurance premiums. We just don't want that entire $1,000 a month getting chewed up by the cost of insurance and fees of the policy. You want the least amount. So if it's structured correctly, the least amount of that $1,000 will go to pay for that policy. So let's say
remainder.
Yep. And then the remainder will get deposited into the cash value account that is going to mirror the stock market index. It's going to grow with compound interest, which is what you want to have access to when you go ahead and borrow from the policy. And unfortunately, right, in my career, I started in a multi-level marketing company. And, I don't want to knock everyone in MLM. So those of you that are in the ABC type companies, the WFGs, right, LMNOPs,
LOLs.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Unfortunately, those companies, because those agents, they start at such low contracts, they design the policies with too much death benefit, and which means most of the client's premium is getting chewed up by the death benefit because it's so high. So some people, hey, I'm contributing $300, $400, $500 a month into this policy. When I look at it, I say, you have a very high death benefit. What was the purpose of this? Oh, it was for tax-free retirement or to build some cash value. And they've had the policy almost a handful of years, and they still cannot access any money in the form of a loan. And the reason why is because the death benefit's too high. The cost of their contribution has been chewed up by the cost, and so there is no cash value building. And this is a blow to them. They're like, oh man, right? Like, that's not what I thought this was. And unfortunately, those agents don't really stay in contact with them because there's so much turnover in our industry. And so really what that person probably needed was like a $50,000 to $100,000 death benefit, not the $500,000 one that they have, and contributing that $500 a month. They would only be paying, right, maybe between $60 to $75 of that $500 would go to pay for that death benefit, and they would have built cash value that they would be able to access.
Right. And so remember, keep it in mind that there are two components when it comes to an IUL. There's the insurance or the life policy, and then there's a cash value component to it. And so we want to make sure that we get you as cash heavy as possible so that we can help you grow that account tax free.
Exactly. And I get people that say, is there any way to, I love this whole tax free account and cash value and mirrors the stock market, doesn't lose. Is there any way I can get rid of the life insurance piece of it? No, you cannot, guys, right? So listen, and I tell folks, I get it. Look, you don't have to love life insurance companies. You don't even have to like them. You just got to like them more than the IRS.
Right.
That's all I tell them, right? And plus, if it benefits your family.
I was just going to say that.
Look, you need life insurance,
wouldn't you? Yeah, it's such an important component that most of us, including myself, don't really consider or think of, but especially when we're a little younger. But why wouldn't you want a policy? And so if you can get the best of both worlds all day, right?
Yeah. And so that goes to, obviously, my ideal client is I'm looking for somebody that has an insurable need. Hey, I like the tax benefits of the cash value account, but you know what? I am married. I got kids. That is the ideal client I go for, which we'll talk later in the show. Who's this for? But now with single people who are like, well, I mean, I'm not married. I don't have kids. Like, why would I want an IUL policy? I don't really need life insurance. It's not like I'm leaving money for somebody. I was like, well, you're single, right? Because now life insurance comes with living benefits. So these IUL policies.
So important.
What if you had a heart attack, stroke, or cancer and you can no longer work? How are you going to provide for yourself in that time?
Right.
Who's going to take care of you if there's no one there to take care of you? Now, this policy's death benefit can be accessed, right, to cover yourself and cover your needs, right, financially. So there is a need there for you single people out there for life insurance.
This fits all boxes throughout all, single, married, whatever the case might be. I truly believe that this is an incredible vehicle, regardless of your particular situation, because everybody fits in there somehow, some way.
Yeah. So can I hit on something? I'd like to talk more about the structure and design, because people wonder is how much, how do I know it's structured correctly? Carlo, here's my policy. I've had one. I said, look, inside of every policy, there is a maximum and a minimum contribution amount based on how your policy was designed. Most people don't know that. So you should get with your agent if they're still around, or look at your policy.
Don't even get with you. Call us.
Call us, right? give us a call. We will look at your policy complimentary
All
and
day.
we will diagnose it and tell you, hey, you know what? This looks good or it doesn't, and here's why. Because we could actually show you the numbers. But the way to determine if your policy was structured correctly is, let's say you're contributing $500 a month, $6,000 a year. If we look at your policy statement or your illustration and it says the maximum amount that can be put in this policy is $6,000 a year, and then I look at you and I say, look, you're putting how much? $6,000 per year. There you go. You're maximizing this. You're getting the most juice out of this policy that you possibly can. Now, if you're only putting in, $50 a month, but the maximum is $6,000 a year, then you got too much death benefit, right? So you shouldn't be putting $50 inside of a policy anyway. It's not worth it for you. But just as an example,
right, yeah. So we spoke about the structure of an IUL, and we talked about the difference making it a cash heavy IUL. Actually, no. Let me backtrack a bit, because we talked about previous shows on the life benefit, but making sure that this is a cash heavy policy. So what you can do if the life insurance component is important to you is you make it a cash heavy IUL, but you structure it together with a term policy, which is at a minimal cost, and that will give you these 7-8 figure type of life insurance policy that you're looking for. Right?
Dude, I am so glad you brought that up. That's an excellent point. And yes, because I do get clients that say, I want the minimum death benefit because I want to maximize that cash value account. But Carlo, I do need at least $1 million of death benefit. I want to take care of my
family. Yeah.
So I'm going to do both, right? I say, look, let's get you a minimum. Let's say your minimum death benefit max value cash IUL is $200,000. I'm like, well, this is $800,000 short of $1 million. So why don't we supplement that policy with an $800,000 30-year term policy that has living benefits? So now you're covered for $1 million, but you're still maximizing that policy for cash value accumulation.
Right. Very, very easy to do, but I just don't think it's something that most people think about, or most agents kind of know how to properly structure these types of policies to be able to maximize your potential cash value and making sure that you're taking care of your family further down the road, or not even taking care of yourself, because there's also those living benefit riders 100%. that these policies carry. So there's so many intricacies that come with these types of policies, and so we're going to continue to build off of these conversations and whatnot. But I want to make sure that y'all get an idea of where these conversations are headed, and really, I think one of the banners that we're going to be carrying throughout these episodes is the idea of being your own bank, and what does that mean, and comparing doing this type of policy versus keeping your money in a traditional type of banking institution, checking or savings account, and really the benefits of going down the route of an IUL versus letting your bank manage your money. And we just had a conversation before we started recording about one of your clients going to, he was buying a used car, and he went to go ask for $3,000 from
his checking account.
Checking it. He had plenty of money in that account.
Yeah, the bank didn't have it.
They're asking him questions. Why do you want this money? What do you need it for? It's like, what do you care? Right?
Exactly. He wasn't applying for a loan. He's like, I'm just asking for cash.
Right.
They could only give him $300.
Right.
That's what they had available.
That's just mind-boggling. And so there's reasons. There's a method to our madness. You all will see this. But we're at the end of this episode. So thank you all again for checking us out. We really, really do appreciate you spending some time with us. Please continue to reach out and send us questions. And at any moment, you can reach out to us, hit us up on DM. We have our office in downtown Chula Vista. But thank you again. On behalf of Carlo and myself, this is Dollars and Cents. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.